did I hear you correctly in that your hearing went viral? So people
Yes,
saw it
yes, it did.
on the internet and that.
Yeah, and it gave me a lot of issues at that jail.
Well, 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 look who's back and look who's complaining about going viral. Now, I don't know if I would consider 100,000 views as being viral, 108,000 views, 1,300 comments, which we'll go through in a little bit. But yeah, I guess it did get some attention, and it seems he had to change prisons. And guess who's back? He's back trying to get back out of prison again. Isn't it interesting that actions have consequences? Now, before we watch this updated hearing, we will take a flashback to the past to rewatch the hearing that made him so popular in prison. Now, 108,000 of you have already seen it, so feel free to skip ahead. I will leave the timestamp in the description. With that, let's jump in.
No, she had a daughter, but she wasn't really like there that time. So
And so
she had
how was
two
it?
daughters, and she was pregnant of my child at the time.
Okay. And how was it that you did you set it up so that you would be alone with this victim?
That I what?
Would be alone with the victim?
No,
You didn't set it up. So you this
No.
this
no,
This wasn't-
did not set it up. No,
so tell me why you would set the video a camera up to record this.
because I was, like I said, I was smoking, and I started hallucinating, thinking that it was someone else, and it wasn't.
So you recorded yourself with your girlfriend?
Yeah, we used to do videos and stuff. Yes.
So why did you say you had to have known that your victim was a minor because you said things like open up and let me put on the baby powder. You say that to the girlfriend that you were with at the time?
Oh man.
We are about to watch the parole hearing of a man, a monster, who was sentenced November 20th, 2018 to 10 years flat for what he did to this child, this infant. Not only did he do this for who really knows how long, because that information is unavailable, but he filmed it. So the initial charges included CP. Now, if someone could explain to us simpleton, to us sheeple, why you would give a plea deal to a man that has literally recorded his acts, that the evidence is on camera. Explain to me why, DA, you would give a plea deal. But here we are. The plea deal has been given, and now he has a chance for parole after being given just a 10-year sentence. Do you think that the parole board will grant parole? Will they come up with some sort of reason or excuse or logic that, of course, us without our PhDs, us not in the government, couldn't possibly understand? Well, let's find out.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration for parole application for Emanuel R 397513. He is serving a sentence of 20 years execution suspended after 10 years with 15 years of probation with sexual assault first degree. As of today, records reflect the date of March 7th, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following programs: coping skills, anger management, individual therapy, social skills, short-term sex treatment, and dual recovery. Utilizing a statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system scores, the offender's overall score for recidivism falls in the low range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. Thank you again.
I'm sorry, Officer Williams. He has a sex assault, so can you just, according to, you have his risk score for, recidivism with
Yes,
sex or-
Like a static 99, he has moderate slash.
And the exo if it's 10.
Thank you very much. Okay, sir, tell us why you think you deserve parole.
Okay. I wrote it down, so can I read you what I have, please?
You absolutely may. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I want to say first thing first is I want to say thank you for giving me the time in the day to see me today for parole, and God bless. I want to tell you that if I'm granted parole today, it will be the best thing that has ever happened to me in the last 8 years. In the last 8 years, I have bettered myself to be a man I am today. My attitude, my patience, and the way I carry myself is better than how I came in 2016. I know what I've done was not okay, and I take full responsibility for my actions. And I pray every day that my victim is okay and healthy, and this incident didn't affect them. I know what I did isn't okay. I live with that guilt, and I live with it every night. My mind went blank that day when I smoked that weed that I wasn't supposed to smoke, and it was laced with other drugs, and I never knew it was. And it cost 8 years of my life being in here. And it wasn't easy for me at all. There'd be times I didn't sleep or eat because I was worried about defending myself. When I was home, I had a job. I was doing carpentry, landscaping, and construction. I always worked. So my boss had recently texted my mother and told her that once I'm home, I'm able to go back to work. But I don't know how, I said, I don't know how I'll be able to work if I'm back on parole. I've never been on parole before and never was committed for a crime or doing time in jail. But I would love to go back to work and do what I do best, work and support my family. Once I'm home, I want to go to therapy and talk to someone so I can talk and get the help that I would need to keep bettering myself and to keep bettering myself. My support system is my mother and my fiance. They've been here through my own incarceration. I know that I'm going to be good when I go home because I don't want to be back in here ever again. Plus I have suspended time and I got probation. I want to be able to work and be with my kids once again. I get visits and phone calls with them and pictures of them, so I'm still able to be active in their life. I want to be the father to them because I'm an amazing father to my 3 kids. This was a slip up in my life that I never meant to hurt anyone, and someone got hurt because of my actions. I always take full responsibilities for my actions, and that person they complained me to be was a mistake because I am a really good, loving person. Being in jail opened my eyes on life, that never take life for granted or anyone. If you guys want to place me on house arrest for the rest of my time I got left till I start probation time, I understand. It won't bother me at all because I'll be home with my family. Once I'm home, you guys won't have to ever worry about me committing another crime because I'm going to be working and bettering myself every day. This whole situation and how everything happened affected a lot of people in my life, but it made me be a stronger man to never give up on hope. I feel so sorry for my victim. I really do. Every time I talk about it, I just want to cry because it hurts me. And I know that I was in the wrong. But I bettered myself over the years to become a better person. And that's it.
Very good, Mr. Resto. We appreciate you taking time to write down your thoughts. It's helpful when you write that stuff down. That way you won't forget anything.
It's just that I know what I did was, it's not okay.
Right. Yep. And we appreciate that. And it wasn't okay. But let me tell you this. Stop referring to it as a slip up because it wasn't a slip up. That's a poor choice of words.
I'm sorry.
I would just say, I made a poor decision.
And I did make a poor decision.
Exactly. And that's taking ownership of it. And that's what we need to hear. Not I slipped up. It sounds like you really have taken time though to work on yourself, and you are remorseful. So what's going to happen here today is each of us are going to take an opportunity to ask you some questions. And when we're done with our questions, we will deliberate and give you our decision. Ms. Chance is going to start with the questions, but just for the record, you are required to appear on the sex offender registration. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you know how long?
Yeah. No, they didn't tell me.
Is it for life?
Lifetime, yeah.
I didn't see it. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Chance. Thank you.
So I'm glad to hear, Ms. Resto, that you took time to write down what it is that you wanted to say, and that it included accepting responsibility for what you did.
Yes.
And I agree with the chair when she said to you, do not say it's a slip up,
Okay.
okay?
It wasn't a slip up.
She already explained to you why. It's
Mhm.
just poor choice of words.
Okay.
So I know you participated in the short-term sex offender treatment program.
Yes.
And I would just like for you to tell me a little bit about how helpful it was to you. Because when you committed the offense, I know you were, smoking PCP and a couple other things.
And like I said, when I smoked, I didn't know that was in there, and that program had really helped me so much to open my eyes and to accept that what happened, I accepted what happened when I started doing that program, and it's hard for me to talk about it, because because I'm a father myself, my daughter's 12 years old, and it's like, it hurt me over the years. For so long, it hurt over the years for what I did.
So were you able to identify in program, apart from the fact that you said you were under the influence, were you able to identify anything that was going on with you that you have addressed during your incarceration?
Like, what do you mean by that, ma'am?
This was a very, very serious charge. It was an assault against a very young person. You got a very high sentence. So
Yes.
in looking back at the offense, apart from the fact that you were on these drugs and you were hallucinating, what else was going on with you? Because you also dropped out of high school because you were on the drugs.
My father had passed away. I went through a very, very bad depression. And when I was a child, I was a victim of sexual abuse also. So that played for me being on and going to the clinic and therapy and everything. And then once I stopped taking medication and everything, I resolved into like smoking weed and drinking.
Can you tell me, if you're to go back in the community, what do you see are your risk factors that would, that you can identify, and what would you do so that this doesn't happen again?
My risk factor is not hanging out with the same people that I used to hang with. And all I could do is just work now, how I used to work, and support my family and stay away from the negative people that was always around me, that was always passing me weed to smoke and drink.
But what made you smoke and drink and do all those
Because
things?
I was always stressed out. I was going through depression, and I didn't have my medication or none of that. So I resolved into drinking and partying and everything.
So without details, where do you think you are with your mental health today?
It's
Have
way
you
better.
resolved that? Just a
Yes.
yes or
Yes.
so. What were some of the other programs that you took that you felt you benefited from?
I think I did like the anger management. That helped out a lot. And talking to mental health workers.
How did the anger management help?
Um,
How did the anger management help you? Because that must have been one of the issues that you were experiencing.
yeah,
Okay.
it helped me out a lot to like express myself always. You know, never hold anything in. Because if you let you hold stuff in, and when you explode, it can be really bad. So I always I learned how to have a journal and express myself every night before I go to sleep.
Okay. So journaling helps you.
Yes. I have a lot of journals.
So realistically, how will that work when you go back in the community? What
When I-
time of the day do you do journaling? Is that going to be part of what you do as a form of therapy when you go back out? Then
Yes.
tell me about your release plan.
It's okay. So every night, like I usually do, like, you know, and I wake up, you know, I start my day, you know, I work out, I start drawing. Then once nighttime hits around,
I think you
10, 11.
misunderstood the question, Mr. Resto. She asked you
oh,
what's your,
when I'm gonna go back in the community,
What is your release plan?
my release plan is going back to work, going to therapy, and I'm gonna try to go back to Wheeler Clinic and get back on my medication for my depression to keep bettering myself.
What else?
And I want to go back to work and be there for my mother and my kids.
Now, you said you used to do carpentry.
Yes.
Have you made any contact with any form of employment?
He has contacted my mother. And because like through family friend,
Your previous,
boss.
that the person that you were working with before?
Yes.
Okay, so you didn't give the name of the company, you just said you were doing carpentry. What's the
I was
name?
working for carriers.
Carriers?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I read somewhere, I'm glad to hear that you truly want to go back and work, because one of the issues that I know your mom had with you is that you were not working, you didn't want to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So she was financially taking care of you.
Yeah.
So now you feel that you're ready to
Yes,
accept the
ma'am.
responsibility of employment.
Yep.
And you are going to participate in your counseling and compliance.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever have a problem with alcohol?
Not really, nah. It was just usually smoking a lot of weed. Sometimes, like in the weekends, I'll sniff a little bit of coke. That's it. I wasn't really a drinker like that.
Okay, so what are you gonna do for your substance abuse?
Substance abuse, I'm not gonna do anything. Like I don't want to go back to smoking. Like
Well,
I'm trying
you
to
know,
cope.
that's you have a drug score of 4.
Yeah,
So it seems that you have to do something there.
yeah.
Would you
Probably
say?
go like to NA classes. Just keep staying clean. That's part of like doing my therapy stuff and everything.
So,
Excuse me.
I noticed that you did not do a tier program there.
Yeah, because I thought they were supposed to contact me. That's why. Because towards the end, that's when they're like, "Okay, you got to do a program. You have to do this. You have to do that." And I'm like, this is my first time incarcerated, so I really didn't know the steps on doing stuff.
But for me, it's important, if you didn't do a tier program there with such a high drug score,
Mhm.
it would behoove you to follow through with some outpatient treatment.
Okay.
Because the fact of the matter is, you're incarcerated there, so you may feel a little restricted. You don't know
Yeah.
what you would do if you had an urge or a craving.
Mhm.
But it's important to have a plan for when you go back in the community.
Okay.
So the place where you're thinking of going for your mental health treatment may also have outpatient substance counseling.
But Willard Clinic, I think, has that.
There you go.
Yes.
So that's where you would go to access the
Mhm.
services for both.
Yes.
Okay. So for you, the most important thing about the short-term sex offender program that you took is the fact that each day you had to do journaling, and you found that very helpful.
Mhm. Yes, it helps a lot.
Okay. Do you know where the victim, now, the victim's mother, is she the one that has the 7-year-old son for you?
Yes, that's my son with her. Yes.
So that's your son's mother.
Yes.
Are you in contact with her or your son?
No, I haven't been. I haven't. And I have to work on trying to get my visitation rights. So I can at least, third party visit with him.
And how are you gonna do that?
I'm gonna go through the courts. Because I'm on his birth certificate, but I don't have custody because I've been incarcerated. So
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, Mr. Redsco, I don't have any further questions for you. Thank you for answering mine. Madam
thank
Chair.
you. Thank you.
Ms. Chance. Mr. Resto, I'm having some issues with some of the things that you're saying. Ms. Chance was asking you about your substance abuse, and you said you didn't really drink, but in your opening statement, you said that you were smoking marijuana and drinking heavily. And it was because you were not taking your medication.
Mhm.
And I also heard you express remorse for your actions in this offense. And you blamed your action primarily on the fact that you were under the influence. Excuse me. So that's a little contradictory.
Yes.
So I'm not understanding. So were you drinking heavily or were you not?
I didn't really drink that much. I was a heavy smoker.
And so let's talk a little bit about the offense. So how was it that you were alone with this victim?
Because her mother used to go to work.
Her mother would work, and she was the only child at that time?
No, she had a daughter, but she wasn't really like there that time. So
And so
she had
how was
two
it?
daughters, and she was pregnant of my child at the time.
Okay. And how was it that did you set it up so that you would be alone with this victim?
That I what?
Would be alone with the victim?
No,
You didn't set it up. So
no,
wasn't.
did not set it up. No,
So tell me why you would set the video, a camera up to record this.
because I was, like I said, I was smoking, and I started hallucinating, thinking that it was someone else, and it wasn't.
So you recorded yourself with your girlfriend?
Yeah, we used to do videos and stuff. Yes.
So why did you say you had to have known that your victim was a minor because you said things like, open up and let me put on the baby powder? You say that to the girlfriend that you were with at the time?
Oh man.
So what I'm hearing is, honestly, that I think that you're saying that you were under the influence of something, but I really think that this was more of you're acting out because it was done to you. I think that that's a little more, that makes it a little more easier to understand. Does not in any way, shape, or form does not mean that we condone any of it, but it helps us understand more, because from our training, we've been taught that people who use substances and then do crimes, it's just like a gateway.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning the thoughts were always there, but because I'm under the influence now, my inhibitions are lowered. So now it's okay for me to do this because now I can say I was under these. So I really think that you need to continue working on the why, and you will have a long time to do that because you're going to be required to participate in treatment out in the community. Yes, and 15 years of probation is going to be difficult to do.
Yeah, it is, but I know that I got it. That's how I know that I'm not gonna get in trouble. I'm not gonna risk my life anymore for nothing at all.
Well, I have to back you up because you've received 2 disciplinary infractions just this year. One of them was for marijuana, and the other one was for headphones, and you knew you weren't supposed to have the headphones.
Yeah.
And you certainly knew that you shouldn't have been in possession of smoking marijuana. So why did you do that?
Because this girl that I knew, she was really close to me. She had cancer. She passed away. So
did smoking the marijuana bring her back?
No, it did not, man.
Did it help you feel better?
It made me like stress more, to be honest with you.
Because first of all, how do you even sneak and do that? I mean, like that, it just makes no sense.
It's for bringing them in.
It's just ridiculousness. I mean, I want to believe that you are being cognizant about the decisions that you're making based on the things that you've done since you've been in prison, but then you go and negate all the good work that you've done by getting tickets that you know that could have been avoided.
Yes.
I mean, I just don't understand. And the headphones, why did they give you a ticket for headphones?
Because I had a pair of headphones that broke, and I had someone fix them. And I guess in the jail, you can't fix headphones or anything or something like that. So I was like, and they ended up taking them from me.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Russ, it's the same chance that I have. 2 tickets this year.
Yes.
Serious offense, I'm gonna be honest, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I understand that. And I
You
take,
took,
I
you
accept.
took programming, you took all this programming and still.
I'm telling you, I promise you guys, once I get home, I would never mess up again. I promise you this.
But you're in a place where, you know, you're kind of restricted and structured. You're gonna be outside. You're not gonna have any structure, that much structure, except for the probation.
That's
I
what
mean,
I said.
you're basically gonna be outside.
I want to go to Willie Clinic and get back on my. If you want to place me on house arrest, I'll be on house arrest for the rest of my time. I promise you, I'm not gonna get in trouble.
I have to be honest with you. I'm really very challenged today with this situation, especially based on the offense.
Mhm.
I don't have any additional questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. So, Mr. Resto, we're going to talk about your case. You can sit there and listen. We ask that you
Okay.
not interrupt. Thank you. Ms. Chance?
Okay, so there are a few things that are, you know, concerning for me. Most importantly, the fact that he has a drug score of 4, he has not taken a substance abuse problem. And from what I read, in the, from what I read in the document from the parole officer, the SO evaluation, from the connections. And I listed, he was drinking alcohol, sniffing cocaine, smoking marijuana, taking Molly and PCP.
Mm-hmm.
And when he committed the offense, he said that was part of the reason why he did it.
Mm-hmm.
So I am concerned about that because I do think he needs to take a tier program. And the fact that the DRs that he received, you know, one of them was an intox ticket. And so I just think that I cannot put the arrestor out today on discretionary parole because I think he needs to do a tier program and no DRs and actually write out a good relapse prevention plan.
Thank you, Ms. Chance. I understand your position, and I would agree that a tier program would be appropriate. But I can't shake the feeling that Mr. Resto said that he was doing these drugs to substantiate his behavior with this, the inappropriate behavior with this minor child. He's grasping at, he's trying to make an excuse, so to speak. I'm not going to say that he didn't smoke. I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say that the true reason why he committed this offense was not because he was under the influence. And I think that that's what he really needs to try to focus on. And he says that he's going to do that when he's out in the community by going to Wheeler's Clinic, by continuing his treatment in the community. And I really think that the treatment out in the community under the supervision of Parole and Community Services will provide that extra cushion of support before he starts his probation, because he has a long way to go.
Good.
And I don't like the disciplinary infractions and I don't condone them. However, he's not going to even be released out into the community until his eligibility date if we grant him parole in March. So he has all that time to work on himself, improve himself, and not get any disciplinary infractions, because if he does, then he would obviously forfeit any chance of parole. So for me today, I would support his discretionary parole. And I say that because he's taken the appropriate programs. He has not taken a tier. Would he benefit from a tier? Absolutely. But that's just a crutch that he's using. And I think that the real work is going to begin when he walks out of those prison doors. He's already in the good habit of journaling. And that's going to help him comb through some of the things that he's experienced as a child. And hopefully he'll be able to finish the rest of the sentence successfully and not committing more sex crimes. So that's where I am. I really think that he would benefit from discretionary parole. That's the reason why I would vote to grant. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've heard both of my colleagues this morning. And it is kind of difficult because he has taken the program, as you very well pointed out, Madam Chair. He's taken, quite a bit of programming, as a matter of fact. He did not take for me, I agree with my colleague. I remember
He could take a voices, he could take a tear.
There's some other program that I think he could still take that would be beneficial for him. I think there's still some things that he needs to come to grips with that he hasn't really gotten there yet. And again, that's not to reflect on the fact that he has taken some programs. So I am not in agreement with discretionary parole today. I would consider bringing him back. Like he could take some additional programming. At some point, he's got till 2026. And I think it would only be more helpful for him. I think he really, I think he acknowledges that he probably still needs some help along the way because he wants to continue that therapy outside. He's acknowledging that he does need some ongoing help. And that's kind of where I'm at today.
So I can understand that. And when would you like him to come back?
Wow.
I personally wanted to give him 9 months to a year.
I was fine with 9 months. I was going to say 9 months, but I'm good with a year too, to be honest with you. I'm good with that. I want to make sure he's successful when he's on the outside. He wants to be back with his family. He wants to be an example for his family. And I think this is the way for him to set an example for his family.
So you want to do September of 2025, or do you want to do June of 9 months would be June?
I can do the 9 months.
June of 2025.
June 2025.
And you want inadequate program participation?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Was he on probation?
Or institutional adjustment?
He was on probation when he did this.
And for institution.
I'll just do the two since we're having them come back. Just support the poor institutional adjustment because of the tickets that he's received.
Right.
And inadequate program participation.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have them come back in June of 2025. With regard to Emanuel R DOC, 397513, I move that his discretionary parole be denied as at this time based on his inadequate program participation and his poor institutional adjustment with the disciplinary infractions that he's received. I further move to rehear him in June of 2025, at which time he should have completed any successful programs, any positive programs, available to him. We would love to see a tier program and maybe even a voices if you can prior to that time, and receive no additional disciplinary infractions. Did I say everything?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The record will reflect that I am in favor of releasing Mr. Resto at his eligibility date. So Mr. Resto, you'll receive all of this in writing, sir. Keep working on yourself. You have, I know that you would benefit from being out in the community on parole, but my colleagues want you to do some more work, prove yourself.
Excuse
so that
me.
they can, go ahead.
What about if you just parole me to a halfway house, please? That's all I ask, please.
Well, you're not eligible for parole until March. And so they just gave you an additional 3 months on top of that. So go back there and do all that you can, sir. Take advantage of the time, All right. Good luck to you.
The report made 7-5.
Can you even imagine that page? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch myself do the unpacking, and I'll just do some commenting on that, and then we'll go through the actual comments that some of you left on the hearing before we jump into his return hearing, which, by the way, there are some surprises there. Again, if you want to just skip ahead, I'll leave a timestamp link for you. So let's go look at the beardless Mandoo. Was lobbying to parole him, and her logic is, well, they don't have quality programs for therapy in DOC, because he told me that he was, this happened to him when he was a child, that really that's the problem. That's what we believe. And it's that he needs to get to the root cause of that in therapy, and everything will be okay. So let's release him. That's her logic. That's disturbing. I mean, Paige, there are times when she goes at it, and I love what she says. But the bottom line is, I don't think anyone can say that her logic, it's dangerous. I mean, it's correct. It's like broken. It's like, how do you come to the conclusion? Like, there are so many things wrong with that statement, because he tell, and it's like, well, yeah, I don't think it's really a substance abuse. So that's just the trigger. So it's like, well, even if you believe that, even if you want to drink the Kool-Aid, all of the Kool-Aid, what's going to happen when he goes out and takes substances? He just had a write-up for doing it in prison a few months ago. For those of you who are wondering, the man, all of a sudden, like, he grew a set. It's not Mike Pohl. Mike Pohl would have went along with Paige, and he would have been paroled on a majority vote. That's Mr. Rodriguez. He sounds like Mike Pohl, but you heard his disgust. The stuff when you listen to these parole hearings, for me, it makes me feel like I'm going crazy. I mean, you heard he's been locked up for 8 years on a 10-year sentence, 10 years suspended. Now that's a lot. Like, in Connecticut, we're used to nothing sentences, and I guess it's because, again, he filmed it. They were holding the royal flush. He has lifetime registry, thank God. Although he was talking about going back to his kids, all 3 of them. The woman's still with him. Like, they never said anything about not doing that, but whatever. And he, in his speech, I mean, there's nothing about the victim. There's nothing. How did they not get at him about that? How did they not say, like, do you know what you did? There's no details. The first, what he's charged for is sexual assault, 1st degree. So he's lifetime registry. He did it in 2018, 10-year sentence, 10 years suspended. And for someone under the age of 12. I'm guessing it was 3 or 4 years old, if he's probably even younger, because changing diapers, 2, 3. He's filming it. He actually makes an excuse in this parole hearing. Yeah, I was so messed up. I smoked pot, and there was something laced in it, and I thought it was my fiance. It's like, you mother effer, like, yeah, are you freaking kidding me? And then the parole board's like, yeah, I don't think that's possible, because why did you film it, and why did you talk about baby powder? It's like, yeah, like, oh, well, yeah, and his response is, we always film stuff, me and my fiance. Why did they not just rail into him? Why did they not say, you, sir, are you have problems? The idea that he even had, in Louisiana, they changed, we watched them progress. And it used to be you could get parole. Then they changed, with write-ups, it was more like a discretionary thing. Then they made the rule around 2022, I think, which was you can't have a write-up for 1 year. If you had a write-up within a year, you're not getting a parole hearing. And just recently, in September of 2024, they changed it where you have to go 3 years without a write-up. Okay, I think we get the point. I still agree with what I said. Let's go through some of the comments to see what y'all said before we jump into his hearing number 2. And let's see. Okay. So the first comment, upvoted 673 times, says sex offenders cannot be rehabilitated. 52 replies. Now, the reason you don't see my likes on this is because this is not actually my YouTube page. That's why you don't see hearts, or it's like my recording page. So No one accidentally does that, regardless of what narcotics were used. 20 years of serious narcotic use, I've never even thought that way. And 2 months sober. Well, congrats, Tim9229. I hope you are still going well in your sobriety trip. And yeah, we say this all the time. Narcotics do not turn you into a cockroach. Parents, stop leaving your kids with these monsters. That man has no business being alone with children. Y'all got to protect your babies. Don't underestimate anyone. Good advice. True crime with Lee, 373. He should be in prison for the rest of his life without seeing any light of day. Well, we're about to see his next parole hearing, Ren Jenkins, and we're going to find out if they will release him. I can't understand how someone thinks a 4-year-old child. Well, I'm not going to read the rest of that. I don't want to get ruined by YouTube, but I agree. 419 votes. He is definitely, I should say, definitely lying. I was a narcotic addict, but never turned me into a pedo. I agree, Dion. It's just not the way it works. Who needs classes to teach them to not sexually? Oh, yes. But I mean, that's the thing with the programs. It's like, oh, take some programs and all of a sudden you're not going to do. That's just not the way it works. It's just not the way it works. He's a liar. These board members are idiots. I'm filing a complaint. I'm so sick of them. Their shock of seeing that this hearing went viral. I heard it in their voice. I wonder what they're thinking. But they have tried to silence us, by the way. They don't want us seeing these hearings. I don't know if you guys know this, but Iowa stopped playing their hearings to stop us from covering them. We still have like 100 recorded hearings that haven't published. So if you want to see Iowa hearings, let me know in an email or in the comment section. Utah stopped playing them because we were with video because of us. Vermont kicked me out of their parole hearing and actually rewrote their legislation to keep me from recording their hearings. So we are making noise and they are trying to stop us. It wouldn't surprise me if Connecticut did the same. But as of now, we'll keep on going. I have to hear, I thought she was from her mom for one of these roaches again. I'm just going to have to jump through the screen. So that darn Shay, that is a good comment because we have heard Ch0m0s make that excuse so many times. They said, I thought she was her mother. How many times have we heard that? I can think on the top of my head at least 5, which is such an insane thing to say. Liquor and devil's lettuce doesn't make you a perv. He's full of it. He should not even be allowed to be around children, even his own. I agree. But we're going to hear something. We're going to hear something in the next hearing that is going to piss you off. Somehow it seems that he had gotten a letter that will allow him to be around his children. And it keeps going on and on. It's interesting how YouTube doesn't categorize it by the number of votes. This is 455. So I'm just reading the top 10, whatever they're showing me. There's a lot of good ones in there. Let's just jump into the next hearing. And what do you think? You think that they're going to release him? Let's find out.
Good morning, I'm panel member Barry.
Good morning, Mike Cole.
Good morning, Joy Chance.
Please state your names and inmate number for the record, sir.
Emanuel R DOC, 3975513.
Hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Emanuel R DOC, 3975513. He is serving a sentence of 20 years, execution suspended after 10 years jail, 10 years followed by 15 years probation for sex one victim under the age of 13. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of March 7, 2025 at 85%. There is no victim input in this case. The inmate was heard by the board on September 24th, 2024. It was denied and a new hearing date was set for June 2025. The board recommends the inmate successfully participated in the cheer program, voices, and any positive programming and not earn any additional UDRs. Since his last hearing, per his disclosure, he currently is in tier 4 and will be completing it
On the 30th of June, 2025, he has not participated in any other programming to date. He remains on the wait list for education, job, addiction services, and vocational. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system scores, the offender overall score for recidivism falls within the low range. Utilizing the static 99R, the offender overall score for sexual offense recidivism falls within the moderate to high range. Mr. Resto, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you be granted parole, sir. You may begin.
Okay, thank you. I want to start this letter by saying thank you for the time and day to come see me again. To be honest, the first time you see me, I was going through some stuff and wanted to go home after doing 9 years, almost doing the full 10 years. So I took the 9-month Denny and got myself into the Tier 4 program to really find myself and learn the real meaning of addiction and the process of staying clean and staying out the jail system. I know my mistakes caused a lot of pain to my victim's family, and also my own family. I always take full responsibility to what I did, and I'm truly sorry for the pain I caused to everyone. Being in jail for 9 years already, I had to learn to open up and accept myself for who I am, and learn to put myself first and to love myself. I got the best support system. I got my wife, her name is Crystal. We was friends for a long time since we was kids, and got together and got married already. I got my mother, she's my biggest support. She never left my side. And I also got my daughters back in my life. I got visits through court orders once a week. I'm grateful for who I have on my side through all these years. If I was granted parole today, I would be very grateful to have my chance to finally go home with my family. But while I'm home, I would still be working on myself. I got accepted to Demas Willard Clinic. I would do my therapy sessions and attend AA and NA groups to keep my recovery clean and positive. So I have stuff already set up once I'm home. My family means a lot to me, so I won't ever let them down. I promise to always walk a straight line. I got 20 years suspended and 15 years probation. I can't afford coming back to jail and leaving my loved ones again. If I'm able to ask for forgiveness to my victim and my victim's family, I will. What I did was uncalled for. I made a mistake by smoking something, not knowing what was in it caused me 10 years of my life. To keep myself busy once I'm home, I want to go back to work, doing construction, landscaping, and carpentry. My boss had texted my wife telling her that I still got an open spot still to work. So if I'm able to work, I'll be grateful. But if I'm on house arrest, I hope I'm able to still work, because I want to keep myself busy. Being a victim myself of sexual assault took a lot on me also. They had me on medication at the age of 5, not knowing what was wrong with me. I just never opened up to anyone because I was scared to talk. By being in the program, Tier 4, working on myself, I learned a lot of skills to be the positive man that I am today. I know I had a little hiccup on my journey to be in Tier 4, reasons why. My last parole date broke through Facebook and YouTube and started to have a lot of issues in that jail. And my depression started and did not want to be there. I learned by being in Tier 4, I had learned how to cope with my addiction and my personal issues. Once I'm home, I will promise to do everything I need to do to stay out. If I'm able to give my parole officer a drug screen test every week, I will, to show you guys and the community that I have changed. And I'm very serious about my recovery. Thank you for coming to see me, and hopefully I get my chance. Hopefully I get my chance to being home after doing 9 years. My family does need me back home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Resto, for that statement and for preparing the statement for us to.
What are you holding up?
This is, I have the court order for my visitations with my daughters.
Okay.
So once I'm home,
we can't see it because it's really dark, but that's okay. We believe you.
okay. And I have, I got accepted to Demas. I have a case manager. Her
Okay.
name is Angela. So she
Okay.
said, once I'm home, I'll be able to she said, once I'm home, just give her a call so I can do my NA groups. She's going to put me in therapy sessions.
Okay.
And do my AA groups. And I'm most likely probably going to try to get back on medications too after doing my therapy sessions, because I might need it, you know.
All right. Well, I
And
think
then,
the professionals will have to decide that.
Yes.
I just want to ask a quick question from
Yeah.
what you said in your opening statement. Did I hear you correctly in that your hearing went viral? So people
Yes,
saw it
yes, it did.
on the internet and that?
Yeah. And it gave me a lot of issues at that jail.
All right, so this one is going to be just like your last hearing, Mr.
Okay.
Resto. Ms. Chance is going to talk to you again.
Okay.
And we will make our decision, and then we'll just deliberate and give you our decision. What's that?
This is my tier 4. I don't know if you guys seen it up there on my documents. The counselor had wrote me a good report saying that I complied with everything and I've been good and everything. So
Thank you. All right,
welcome.
thank you, Ms. Chance.
So when do you finish the tier 4?
I finished on the 30th this month.
So, Mr. Resto, do you remember me?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Okay. So at your last hearing, we asked you to do a couple of things. One,
Yes.
we asked you to complete a tier program.
Mm-hmm.
There was another program, I think it was Voices,
Yes.
and not get any DRs.
Yes.
Now, what you just said and Madam Chair asked you about was that was in September of last year that we saw you.
Yes.
And you indicated that because this particular hearing went viral,
Mm-hmm.
you're saying that that attributed to you getting that intox ticket.
Yes, it did, because I didn't know how to deal with it. And I told the lieutenants and everything, yo, I need to be moved. I need to be moved. And they didn't want to listen to me or nothing. So, but I knew that that wasn't right, you know, and I do have an addiction and I did work on myself. That's why I went to tier 4. Once I got over here and really worked on myself, and I've been clean since I've been in the program, you know, so I've really been working on myself, and it's been helping being in the program.
So tell me what your release plan looks like.
Can you say that again, please?
Your release plan.
My release plan? My release plan is once I get home, I'm going to get on the phone and I'm going to call Demas, Really Clinic, talk to my case manager, and I'm going to do my NA, my AA, and my therapy, and hopefully get back to work and get back to my family after doing all these years. Bless you.
So what do you do if somehow later on in the community, someone confronts you the way someone did during incarceration? How do you handle that?
I'm going to be able to walk away, you know, and go and work on myself, but I'm also not going to be like, when I'm home, I'm staying home. I'm not leaving the house like that. I'm just going to go see parole and work, and that's it, you know, and avoid a lot of situations and start walking away from a lot of situations.
But Mr. Resto, just staying home is not realistic.
Yeah.
If you intend to have a job and go to your programs,
Yep.
you will have time to just go home, do your home chores, and go to bed and get ready for the next day.
Yeah.
So saying all you're going to do is to just stay home, it's not realistic, because you're going to have to, in your work setting, when you go for your treatment, you're going to encounter people.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have a problem with drugs.
Yeah. But I had told the lady also, my bad, excuse me. I had told her if she could help me get on some type of like a substance. Like, I don't want to be on methadone. I told her flat out. She said that she could probably put me on like Suboxone, So she said that she'll have some already a doctor set up for me, so I can go talk to him and try to get set up on that.
Who is she?
Right, I got her,
Angela
Mike.
Davis.
Angela Frank. I got her number too. That's right. She's my
You talked
patient.
about the lady at Wheeler Clinic.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Oh, and remember how you said about doing the other programs? Since I came to tier 4, we're not allowed to do other programs, they said. I don't know why. So I think it's a 6 months program that I've been in. So
Well,
yeah.
You had already done coping skills and management,
Mm-hmm.
the short-term sex offender, social
Mhm.
skills, and individual therapy.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
You did individual therapy, so when all that social media thing came about, why didn't you ask to speak to someone?
I tried. I really did try. I told lieutenants to call. Would you call the mental health worker, and they told me that I had to write a request form. And I'm like, this is an emergency. So they called down there and they told him flat out, he has to write a request form. So I'm like, by the time you guys get this request form, something might happen.
But why didn't you just follow through and write the request form?
Because I wanted to get immediately out of there. I wanted to come to a new jail and start over. You know?
That piece of it, Mr. Resto, is a little bit concerning because
Mhm.
if you had written the request, knowing that it was urgent and, wanting to remove is different from wanting to speak with someone about what was going on.
Mhm.
So that is something that you're going to have to work on.
Yes.
And so I was very concerned that you got that VR
Yeah.
in December.
Mhm. That's why, like I said, when I get home, I'm gonna do my therapy, get on substance abuse, like the help that I need, and AA groups, and she told me I could do single therapy sessions. Like she said, if I have a problem talking around people, she said that she could set me up for private therapy sessions. And that's what I really want, private.
Why private?
Because I feel better that I don't like talking around a lot of people. So I like talking one-on-one.
So I'm going to say, Mr. Resto,
Yes.
the most effective part of the program that you're referring to is done in a group setting
Okay.
because it's more realistic because you really have to face whatever problems you have and be able to speak about it and get constructive feedback.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. I'm not
No,
telling you what you need to do, but I'm suggesting that that would be a good way for you to address whatever problems. And I did read the report that was given about your participation and your identification of your internal and external risk factors
Mhm.
and your pro-social support, who you have, in the community for support.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I do hope you follow through with, that piece of it.
Yes, I will. I promise I will. I promise.
Right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. So, Mr. Resto, I don't have any questions either. I think at your last hearing, I made it clear that any programs that you needed to complete, you could do them out in the community.
Yes.
So I really was not in favor of having you come back for a new hearing at that time. So
Yes.
my position has not changed.
Okay.
And especially since our prior panel gave you specific instructions. Complete these programs, which you haven't done yet. And also you haven't done it because you got the ticket.
Yeah,
If you hadn't gotten the ticket, you would have been able to get the proper programming. So,
yeah,
and we asked you not to do that either. So,
yes.
I will not be in support of your discretionary parole today. I really do hope that you utilize these 15 years of probation to help you navigate your life, because it's going to be completely different than it was when you were
Yeah.
out in the community before.
Yeah.
But give us a few minutes to talk about your case, okay?
Okay,
Ms.
thank you.
Ann.
So it was a bit concerning to hear about Mr. Resto's intox ticket and how he handled that. Because one of the programs that he did complete was the individual therapy. And
Yeah, you
for
talked
me,
about it. Yep.
if he did that and they did tell him to fill out the form, because that is the process that you go through, I am concerned about what he would do in the community. Other than that, you are correct. He would have completed the Tier 4 program already. He's scheduled to end it the 30th of this month, which is, I don't know, a week and a half away.
Yeah, 10 days.
Yeah. And I did read the notes from the sex offender program. He is also saying that he wants to do the part of it in the community as an individual. And I've expressed to him that it would behoove him to do the group, but it would be his call. So I came in with a question mark, Madam Chair, because I was concerned about the reason for the DR and how he handled that DR. Other than that, I was leaning towards ranking him today, but that big question mark is there, and that intox ticket just didn't sit well with me. So I'd like to hear from my colleague, Mr. Cole.
Okay. You brought this book?
So I'm encouraged that he's in Tier 4. I am absolutely discouraged. A substance that he used that got him the intox ticket is the exact same substance that he's talking about getting on to keep him away from other drugs. And in that particular case, that makes that a drug. And I'm highly concerned. And, I'm not a medical professional, but I certainly would hope that Mr. Resto has a discussion, a sincere discussion, before he decides what he's going to do when he comes out into the community. I cannot.
It's a decline.
I cannot support parole today.
I had the nature and circumstance of his offense and for institutional adjustment. I don't know what reason. But I mean,
I had the question mark,
Okay.
but I had
okay.
two just in case.
Okay. So with regard to Emanuel Resto 397-513, I move to deny discretionary parole with no new hearing date based on the nature and circumstance of your offense and also your poor institutional adjustment, the disciplinary infractions that you've received. You will not receive a new hearing, sir. We wish you the best of luck. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This concludes the hearing for Emanuel Resto 397-513. You'll receive all this in writing. What else, you, sir?
And there you go. He was denied unanimously, even Mike Pohl. And if Mike Pohl denies, you're in bad shape. Now, can you imagine? Think about this. They gave him a chance. They said, you know what? You're just going to go a few months, finish a program, come back and get paroled, and he couldn't help himself. He couldn't control his impulses. He violated, he took a substance, and now he's going to have to serve the rest of his time in prison. But when you think about it with the context of his crime and how close he was to being released, someone who can't control his own impulse when it's his best interest in mind, how in the world could you trust him out in the community? I think it's really just a blessing that he wasn't out yet, because this man is going to reoffend again. But it's insanity that regardless of today's decision, he will be out in a year. He will be in the street. And what's insane is that his wife is still with him, according to him. And frankly, she should be locked up in prison, in my opinion, as well. And then a judge gives him a right to visit 3 of his daughters once a week. That judge should be in prison as well. This is just insanity. But it's Connecticut. You know what's interesting too is how they mention he has a low risk assessment for reoffending. Not his static 9-9, so not the sex offender risk assessment. That he actually had a medium chance, which is shocking, not a low chance. But his risk for reoffending was a low chance. And someone has got to look into that risk assessment, because how can you retain a low risk to reoffend when you are violating your own rules in prison? I mean, that should be a pretty big red flag. You're taking drugs in prison, but you're a low risk to reoffend. Okay, make that make sense. But what do we know? We're just sheeple. I guess we can talk about, a few things. His opening statement. Even through all of this, even through the prior hearing, even through having his first hearing go viral and all of that, he still has the audacity to show up and say, what I did was uncalled for. What he did to that child was uncalled for. Those are the words that he chose to use. And then he says, I made a mistake by smoking something, not knowing what was in it, and it cost me 10 years of my life. So again, even after everything that happened with his prior hearings and all of that, his insight still, with writing it down, was to say his only mistake was smoking something without knowing what was in it. So, it's interesting. I do wonder. I have to ask. I wonder if us doing this hearing and with everyone getting involved and with it going quote unquote viral, I wonder if we had a small role to play in him staying incarcerated just a little bit longer. I don't know. What do you think? You can let me know in the comment section. But this was interesting. It's interesting to know the board knows that they're being watched by the community. The board knows that their decisions are going to be talked about and critiqued by the public in ways that it never was before. And I wonder if that knowledge is having them make decisions that will keep Connecticut a little bit safer. And it wouldn't surprise me, though, that like Utah and like Iowa and like Vermont before them, the same states that even passed new legislation to make it so that we couldn't cover their hearings, to keep their decisions private from the public. And many don't understand this, but parole hearings are not court proceedings. They are written in the law as community meetings. That is how they are categorized. They are public meetings, and they are designed that way so the public understands why is it that a parole board is reversing what a judge ordered, or is stating that this person is allowed to be in the community years before their sentence is complete. And it's designed that way so that we can all see what's happening. And we have been seeing what's happening. And everybody, it's about 99%, feel the same way that I do. They think it's insane. They think it's madness. Yet there are a few put in a position of power that will prefer to release criminals back into the public, dangerous criminals back into the public. And the public has seen those decisions, and we have made our voices heard, and maybe we actually are making a difference. I like to think we are. And with that, I'll let you go.
Did I hear you correctly in that your hearing went viral? So people
Yes,
saw it
Yes, it did.
on the internet and that?
Yeah. And it gave me a lot of issues at that jail.